When the day finally ends and the noise around you begins to fade, it can feel strange when your thoughts refuse to follow the same rhythm. The lights are lower. The world outside has slowed. Yet inside, your mind continues to move, replaying moments, revisiting conversations, carrying the quiet weight of everything that happened today. There is nothing wrong with you for feeling this way. A restless mind at night is not a failure. It is often the sign of a heart that has carried more than it had time to release. Throughout the day, you moved forward because you had to. You responded, decided, endured, and continued. Now, in the stillness, everything that was set aside begins to surface. This moment does not require effort from you. You do not need to solve anything right now. You do not need to organize your thoughts or understand why certain memories return at night. You are allowed to simply be here, exactly as you are, without pressure or expectation. Scripture has always met people in moments like this, not when everything is clear, but when the heart is full and the mind is tired. Long before words were written, they were spoken softly, heard slowly, and received in quiet spaces. Listening, even without full understanding, has always been a form of rest. As you listen now, you are not being asked to focus intensely. You are not required to hold on to every sentence. These words are here to accompany you, not to demand attention. You can let them come and go, like gentle sounds in the distance, present without interruption. If your thoughts continue to wander, that is all right. If your body feels heavy, that is all right. If sleep feels close or far away, that is all right too. Rest does not begin when the mind is silent. It begins when the mind realizes it no longer needs to fight for peace. Tonight is not about achieving anything. It is not about becoming calmer or more faithful or more rested. It is simply about allowing space for stillness to exist without resistance. Sometimes peace arrives quietly when we stop reaching for it. You may choose to listen with your eyes closed, or simply allow these words to play in the background. There is no correct way to be here. The only invitation is to remain for a moment, without urgency, without demand. As the day releases its hold on you, there is room for gentleness to take its place. Not all at once, not perfectly, just enough to soften the edges of the moment you are in. Let this be a beginning, a slow transition from the weight of the day into something lighter, a pause where nothing needs to be carried forward. You are allowed to rest here. As the night continues, it becomes clear how much the mind holds when everything else grows quiet. During the day, there is movement, sound, and purpose that gently distracts you from what remains unresolved. But at night, when distractions fall away, the inner world speaks more clearly. Thoughts rise not to disturb you, but because they finally have space. This is not the mind working against you. It is the mind asking to be acknowledged. Every concern, every unfinished feeling, every moment that lingered without closure, waits patiently until silence gives it permission to surface. You do not need to answer these thoughts tonight. You only need to notice that they exist without judgment. Scripture often speaks of stillness not as an absence of activity, but as a posture of trust. A quiet heart does not come from control. It comes from release, from knowing that not everything must be resolved before rest is allowed. From believing that the weight of today does not need to be carried into tomorrow. In moments like this, listening becomes an act of surrender. Not surrender to fear, but surrender to gentleness. When words are received slowly, they create space around the thoughts that feel too close. They remind the mind that it is not alone in the dark. You may notice your breathing becoming slower without trying, or perhaps your body remains tense, unsure if it is safe to rest yet. Both experiences are welcome here. There is no expectation placed upon you in this moment. Peace does not arrive through force. It arrives through permission. The night has always been a sacred space for reflection. Many prayers were whispered after long days, when strength was low and clarity felt distant. Scripture does not avoid these moments. It enters them quietly, offering presence rather than solutions. As you listen, allow the words to sit beside your thoughts instead of competing with them. They do not need to replace what you are thinking. They simply exist alongside it, reminding you that you are held even when answers are not clear. If worries about tomorrow arise, let them pass gently. Tomorrow does not need your attention right now. This moment belongs only to the present breath, the present sound, the present stillness. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are simply human at the end of a long day. Rest is not something you earn by finishing everything. It is something you receive when you stop resisting your own tiredness. Even a restless mind deserves kindness. Even unfinished thoughts deserve patience. Let this time be slow. Let it be imperfect. Let it be enough. You are not required to change anything before sleep comes. You are not required to understand everything before peace arrives. Sometimes the deepest rest begins not when the mind finally stops, but when it realizes it no longer needs to be afraid of being awake. Stay here for a little while longer. There is a moment in the night when the body grows tired, yet the mind remains alert, as if it is standing watch. This is often misunderstood as restlessness or weakness, but it can also be seen as care. The mind has spent the day protecting, organizing, anticipating, and responding. When the day ends, it does not simply shut down. It pauses, looks around, and checks if it is finally safe to rest. This pause can feel uncomfortable. Silence removes the noise that once kept thoughts at a distance. In the quiet, memories return, conversations replay, and questions surface. Not because something is wrong, but because the mind finally has room to breathe. Scripture speaks gently to moments like these. It does not demand silence from the mind. Instead, it invites awareness. Awareness that you are present. Awareness that you are held. Awareness that rest does not require perfect calm. You may notice certain thoughts repeating themselves, circling without resolution. This repetition is not failure. It is the mind asking for reassurance, not answers, but safety, not solutions, but permission to loosen its grip. At night, the world narrows. The expectations of the day fade. There is no performance required here, no productivity measured, no progress tracked. There is only being, and being is enough. As these words continue, allow them to move at their own pace. There is no need to follow each sentence carefully. Let them drift in and out of your attention, like a steady presence nearby. Even when the mind wanders, something within you is still listening. Rest often begins before sleep. It begins when the nervous system senses that it no longer needs to stay alert. This can take time. Some nights arrive gently, others arrive slowly. Both are part of the same rhythm. If your thoughts begin to soften, let them. If they remain active, let them as well. You do not need to fight your own awareness. You do not need to silence what is alive within you. Peace does not require emptiness. It requires gentleness. Scripture reminds us that even in still waters, there is movement beneath the surface. Life continues quietly, without urgency. In the same way, your mind may remain awake while something deeper begins to rest. You are allowed to be here exactly as you are. Awake, tired, thinking, listening. There is no ideal state you must reach tonight. There is no finish line to cross before you are worthy of rest. If the night feels long, remember that length does not mean wait. Time can pass softly, breath by breath, word by word, moment by moment. Let the darkness be a shelter rather than a threat. Let the quiet be a companion rather than an enemy. You are not alone with your thoughts. You are accompanied. Stay with this moment. Stay with this breath. Nothing else is required of you now. As the night deepens, the world outside becomes quieter, but the inner world often grows louder. This contrast can feel unsettling. During the day, distractions soften the edges of thought. At night, without interruption, the mind speaks more clearly. It brings forward what was postponed, ignored, or set aside. This is not an attack. It is a release. You may notice a desire to resolve everything before resting. The mind wants closure, order, certainty. Yet Scripture gently reminds us that rest is not a reward for completion. It is a gift offered even when things remain unfinished. There are questions that do not need answers tonight. There are concerns that can wait without consequence. The night is not asking you to carry the whole weight of tomorrow. It is inviting you to set it down, even briefly. When thoughts arise, notice them without judgment. You do not need to follow them to their end. You can acknowledge their presence and allow them to pass, like clouds moving across a wide sky. The sky does not chase the clouds away. It simply remains. In moments like this, breath becomes an anchor, not forced, not controlled, just noticed. Each breath arrives and leaves on its own. You are not required to manage it. Life knows how to continue without instruction. Scripture often speaks of rest as trust. Trust that you are held even when you are not actively holding everything together. Trust that there is care beyond your awareness, working quietly in the background. If the body feels heavy, allow it. If it feels restless, allow that too. Rest is not a single sensation. It can arrive as softness, or as stillness, or simply as the absence of urgency. The night does not demand perfection. It does not expect clarity. It offers space. Space to be unfinished. Space to be human. Space to breathe without explanation. You may feel the mind gradually loosening its grip, or you may feel it holding on tightly. Both are signs of care. The mind has learned to protect by staying alert. Tonight, it is learning something new, that safety can exist even without constant vigilance. There is no rush to sleep. Sleep cannot be forced, and rest does not begin only when sleep arrives. Rest begins the moment you stop resisting the present moment. Scripture reminds us that even watchful hearts are seen. That awareness itself can be a form of prayer. You do not need words. Your presence is enough. If you find yourself drifting, let it happen. If you remain awake, let that be okay too. The night will unfold at its own pace, just as it always has. Nothing is being taken from you by resting. Nothing is being lost by pausing. What is meant for you will still be there when morning comes. For now, remain here. Let these words be gentle companions, not instructions. You are not being asked to change, fix, or resolve anything. Simply stay, simply breathe, simply be. As the hours deepen, the world outside grows quieter, and the inner world often becomes more audible. Sounds fade, light softens. What remains is the steady presence of your own awareness. This is not a space to analyze or fix, but a space to notice. You may become aware of how the body holds the day. Shoulders slightly raised, jaw gently clenched, breath shallow without intention. None of this is failure. It is simply memory living in the muscles. Scripture speaks of rest not as collapse, but as release. Release happens when the body feels safe enough to let go. Safety does not arrive through effort. It arrives through permission. You can offer that permission now. Nothing needs to change immediately. Simply noticing where tension rests begins the process of easing it. If the breath feels short, let it be short. Forcing depth creates resistance. Instead, allow each breath to arrive and leave on its own terms. Trust that the body knows how to breathe without instruction. Thoughts may still appear, some clear, some vague, some meaningful, some repetitive. Let them pass like distant lights moving across a horizon. You do not need to follow them to understand them. Scripture reminds us that peace is not something we manufacture. It is something we return to. It has always been present beneath the noise. The night does not judge your wakefulness. It does not measure progress. It simply holds space until the mind is ready to rest. If time feels slow, that is because urgency has faded. Without demands, the nervous system begins to recalibrate. This slowness is not emptiness. It is recovery. You are allowed to take up space in stillness. You do not need to justify your rest or earn it through exhaustion. The body responds to gentleness before it responds to logic. Softness communicates safety in ways thought never could. As awareness settles, you may notice moments where thought dissolves briefly. These moments are not goals. They are signs of trust forming between mind and body. Scripture often describes rest as shelter, a place to step out of weather, not to solve the storm. Tonight, rest is shelter. If emotions surface unexpectedly, let them come without story. Emotion does not require explanation to be valid. Feeling does not require interpretation. Tears, if they appear, are not interruptions. They are releases. Silence holds them without question. You are not behind. You are not late to peace. You arrive exactly when readiness meets permission. The mind may still attempt to plan tomorrow. Gently remind it that tomorrow will arrive whether planned or not. Vigilance is not protection at this hour. Let the spine rest into whatever supports you. Let gravity assist rather than resist. The earth carries more than you realize. Scripture speaks of being upheld even when unaware. This holding does not depend on belief or effort. It is constant. As the night continues, allow yourself to trust this quiet. Nothing essential will be lost by resting. Everything necessary can wait. If sleep comes, receive it without expectation. If it does not, remain here without frustration. Rest exists in more forms than sleep alone. Stay as long as you need. There is no hurry. You are already where you need to be. There is a moment in the night when effort naturally softens. Not because everything is resolved, but because the mind begins to sense that resistance is no longer useful. This moment cannot be forced. It arrives quietly, almost unnoticed. You may still be awake, yet less alert, less guarded. Thoughts may slow, not stopping entirely, but losing urgency. They no longer demand immediate answers. This is the threshold where rest deepens, not sleep yet, but surrender. Scripture often speaks in invitations rather than commands. Rest is never ordered, it is offered. And like all offerings, it must be received gently. If the body shifts slightly, allow it. Small movements are part of settling. Comfort is not a fixed position. It is a conversation between the body and the present moment. You may notice warmth in certain areas, or coolness, or nothing at all. Each sensation is simply information, not a message requiring response. The mind may try to label this state. Calm, drowsy, uncertain. Labels are habits. You do not need them now. Let attention rest where it feels easiest. Perhaps the rise and fall of the chest. Perhaps the weight of your hands. Perhaps the space behind closed eyes. Scripture reminds us that awareness itself can be restful. You do not need to disappear to find peace. You can remain present and still be held. If a memory surfaces, let it pass without engagement. Memory loses its grip when not fed with attention. Silence weakens its edges. You are not losing control by letting go. You are returning control to the body's natural rhythm. Night is not empty time. It is a restorative environment. Darkness signals safety. Quiet tells the nervous system it may stand down. Even now, your heart continues without instruction. Your breath continues without supervision. Life sustains itself in rest. This is not something you need to manage. It is something you are already part of. Scripture speaks of still waters not as destinations, but as conditions. Peace exists when movement slows enough to reflect. If worry arises, meet it with curiosity rather than resistance. Ask nothing of it. Let it exist without power. Thoughts fade when they are no longer opposed. You may notice that time feels less structured here. Minutes stretch, boundaries blur. This is not confusion. It is the mind releasing its grip on sequence. There is no checklist for rest, no milestone to reach. Presence alone is sufficient. If sleep approaches, it may do so gently, without announcement. Let it take you without ceremony. If sleep does not come, remain open. Rest is happening regardless. Scripture reminds us that vigilance is not required for protection. There is a deeper keeping that does not tire. Your task tonight is not to achieve rest, but to allow it. You have done enough today. Even if nothing went as planned, effort has already been spent. Now is the time to receive. Let the day loosen its hold. Let tomorrow wait outside this moment. You are safe to pause here, safe to soften, safe to rest without explanation. Stay with this quiet as long as it remains. There is nothing else you need to do. As the night continues, awareness becomes softer, less focused on edges and definitions. This is where effort naturally dissolves, not because you decided to relax, but because the body remembers how. You may notice that thoughts appear farther away, like distant sounds rather than close conversations. They exist, but they no longer pull you toward them. This is not distraction. It is a widening of inner space. Scripture often describes rest as something that surrounds rather than something that enters. Peace does not push its way in. It settles gently around what is already there. You are allowed to rest without understanding how it happens. Breathing may feel slower now, or uneven, or barely noticeable. Whatever the rhythm, it is sufficient. The body knows how to guide itself when not interrupted. If the mind tries to check progress, Let that impulse pass. Rest cannot be measured while it is happening. Nighttime awareness is different from daytime focus. It is less sharp, more spacious. This softness is not weakness. It is restoration. Scripture reminds us that quietness carries its own strength. You may feel moments of drifting where attention fades slightly, then returns. These moments are signs of deepening rest, not failure to sleep. Allow drifting. Allow returning. There is no wrong direction here. The body may grow heavier as if gravity has increased. This is not exhaustion, it is trust. Muscles release when they no longer feel observed. If an emotion surfaces, welcome it without interpretation. Emotion, like breath, moves when given space. Nothing needs to be fixed tonight. The mind has worked enough. Planning, remembering, deciding, all of that belongs to daylight. Night is for receiving. Scripture speaks of burdens being laid down, not thrown away. You do not need to discard what weighs on you. Simply set it aside. Imagine the concerns of the day resting outside the room, waiting quietly until morning. They do not need your attention now. Even your identity can soften here. Roles fade. Expectations loosen. You are not required to be anyone in particular during rest. You are simply here. This is a safe place to be undefined. Time continues, but you do not have to follow it. Let minutes pass without tracking them. Let awareness float. If sleep approaches slowly, that is fine. If it comes in waves, that is fine too. Scripture does not rush rest. It honors it. Your nervous system responds to gentleness. Each moment of permission tells it there is no danger. You may notice a sense of quiet spreading, not as silence, but as absence of urgency. Urgency dissolves when nothing is demanded. If you wake briefly after drifting, return to this softness without judgment. Rest does not reset. It continues. Night holds you whether you are aware of it or not. There is nothing you need to prepare for tomorrow right now. Morning will arrive on its own. For now, remain where effort is unnecessary. Let awareness stay wide. Let the body remain heavy. Let the mind rest at the edges. This moment does not need improvement. Stay here as long as it feels natural. At this point in the night, awareness often feels wider and less defined. Thoughts may still appear, but they no longer arrive with sharp edges. They move slowly, like shapes passing through dim light. This is not the mind shutting down. It is the mind trusting the quiet. You may notice that effort has faded almost entirely. There is less desire to manage the moment, less interest in fixing what feels unfinished. The night has gently taken over that responsibility. Scripture often speaks of rest as something that happens when striving ends. Not when answers are found, but when striving loosens its grip. Tonight, rest is not something you are trying to reach. It is something you are already within. The body responds first. Muscles soften without instruction. Breath becomes less noticeable. Even the weight of the body begins to feel supportive rather than heavy. If awareness drifts, let it drift. If it returns, welcome it back without judgment. There is no correct depth to reach. Presence alone is enough. You may sense a subtle boundary dissolving between thought and silence. The space between words grows longer. Meaning becomes less important than tone. The sound of the voice matters more than the content it carries. Scripture reminds us that faith is sometimes simply remaining. remaining without questions, remaining without urgency, remaining where care is already present. The night holds this kind of remaining naturally. There is no need to track time, no need to measure how close sleep might be. Sleep arrives when the body feels fully permitted to rest, not when the mind demands it. If a final thought lingers, allow it to fade on its own. Do not push it away. Pushing creates tension. Allowing creates release. The mind learns through experience. Each moment of safety teaches it that vigilance is no longer required. You are not abandoning responsibility by resting. You are trusting that responsibility does not need you at this hour. Scripture speaks of being kept through the night, not by effort, but by presence. This keeping does not depend on awareness. It continues even when you forget it is there. If sleep begins to pull gently at the edges of awareness, follow without hesitation. If it does not, remain still. Rest is still happening. The night does not rush its work. Restoration unfolds quietly, beneath consciousness. Even now, processes are unfolding that do not require your attention. Healing, recalibration, release. None of it asks you to participate. You are allowed to be passive here. Let the voice remain with you like a steady light. Not bright, not demanding, simply present. There is nothing you need to understand before resting. Nothing you need to resolve. Nothing you need to promise yourself for tomorrow. Tomorrow will arrive with its own clarity. For now, remain where the body is supported and the mind is free to loosen. This moment is sufficient. This quiet is enough. Stay if you wish. Drift if you can. Either way, you are held. As the night moves forward, awareness becomes less concerned with direction. There is no sense of needing to arrive anywhere. The present moment feels complete on its own. This is where rest settles most naturally. You may notice that the mind no longer reacts to every sound or sensation. It listens without responding. This is not withdrawal. It is trust forming quietly beneath awareness. Scripture often speaks of peace as something that surpasses understanding, not because it is mysterious, but because it no longer requires explanation. Tonight, peace does not need to make sense. The body may feel suspended between wakefulness and sleep. Thoughts may appear fragmented, unfinished, soft around the edges. This is not confusion. It is the mind releasing structure. If awareness fades briefly, allow it. If it returns, accept it without effort. There is no need to restart rest. It continues whether you are watching it or not. Breath flows easily when not observed. Muscles remain loose when not directed. The nervous system responds to the absence of demand. Scripture reminds us that rest is not inactivity. It is restoration. Beneath stillness, systems are recalibrating. Balance is being restored quietly. You do not need to witness this process for it to work. The night provides cover for healing. Darkness reduces stimulation so attention can turn inward without effort. If a thought arises about tomorrow, acknowledge it and let it pass. Tomorrow belongs to daylight. Night is not meant to solve future concerns. There is wisdom in letting the mind empty without forcing it to clear. You may notice the voice becoming part of the background now. Words blend into tone. Tone blends into silence. This is the body deciding that listening is no longer necessary. Scripture often describes rest as being led, not pushed. Tonight, you are being led gently by quiet. If sleep arrives suddenly, welcome it. If it arrives slowly, Remain patient. If it does not arrive yet, trust that rest is still unfolding. Nothing is being wasted by staying here. Even awareness itself may soften, becoming less defined. Boundaries blur, identity loosens. This is not loss, it is relief. You do not need to hold on to the sense of self so tightly at night. You are safe to let it rest. Scripture speaks of being known even in sleep. Even when consciousness fades, care remains. The night continues its work, whether you notice it or not. If you awaken briefly later, return to this softness without concern. Rest is cumulative. It does not reset. Allow the body to sink into whatever supports it. Let gravity do what it does best. You are not responsible for staying awake. You are not responsible for falling asleep. Both outcomes are acceptable. The night does not judge wakefulness. There is no final instruction, no conclusion to reach. Only this gentle continuation. Let the voice remain as long as needed, or let it fade into quiet. Either way, you are already resting. Stay here, or drift away. Both are forms of peace. When the day has finally quieted and the outside world has grown still, there is often a moment when the mind notices the absence of noise and tries to fill it. Thoughts return not because they are urgent, but because they finally have space. This is not a failure. It is simply how the mind releases what it has been holding all day. There is nothing you need to correct about this moment, nothing you need to push away. You are allowed to be here as you are, breathing without effort, listening without expectation. Let the rhythm of these words meet you where you are, not where you think you should be. Rest does not begin with control. It begins with permission. In the quiet, memories may rise gently, like distant lights in the dark. Plans may appear, unfinished conversations, small concerns that seem louder at night. You do not need to follow them. You do not need to answer them. You can notice them and let them pass, like clouds moving across a calm sky. Scripture has always been more than something to read. It has been something to hear, something to receive slowly, over time, allowing meaning to settle rather than rush. Tonight, you are not here to analyze or interpret. You are here to listen, to let familiar words become companions rather than tasks. As you remain here, allow your shoulders to soften, allow your jaw to loosen, allow the space behind your eyes to rest. These small signals tell the body that it is safe to slow down, that it does not need to remain alert, that it can begin to trust the quiet. If the mind wanders again, that is all right. Gently return to the sound of the voice. Return to the simple act of listening. Each return is not a reset. It is a continuation. Rest is not broken by wandering. It is built through patience. You are not late to peace. You have not missed the moment when rest was possible. This moment is enough. The night does not demand productivity. It invites release. It invites you to lay down what has been heavy and hold nothing for a while. There is wisdom in slowing down. Wisdom in choosing stillness when the world encourages constant movement. In this slowing, the heart remembers how to breathe without hurry, how to exist without explanation. Stay here for as long as you need. Let these words remain with you, not as instructions, but as gentle presence. And when sleep arrives, let it come naturally, without effort, without pressure, trusting that rest knows how to find you. As the night continues, allow yourself to stop measuring time. There is no deadline here, no expectation to fall asleep by a certain moment. The body understands rest in its own way, and it responds best when it is not being watched or forced. Trust that even listening is a form of rest. Even staying present is enough. You are not wasting this moment. You are allowing recovery to begin quietly, beneath the surface, where it often works best. Let the night hold you gently, without questions, without demands, knowing that this stillness is doing more than it seems. Remain here breathing slowly, letting each word fade naturally. Nothing else is required. Now simply rest within this calm space, allowing silence and sound to share the same gentle rhythm until your awareness softens and sleep feels welcome, unforced and kind tonight, without hurry, without effort, without concern, safe, present, held gently now, here peacefully resting, fully, softly, calm, secure, accepted. As the night continues, there is a deeper quiet that begins to form beneath the surface of your thoughts. It is subtle, almost unnoticed at first, like water settling after movement. You do not need to create this quiet. You are already allowing it simply by staying here, by listening, by not rushing away from the stillness. The body responds to gentleness in ways the mind cannot force. When the voice remains calm and unhurried, the nervous system begins to recognize safety. Muscles release their holding. Breathing grows slower without instruction. This is not something you need to manage. It happens naturally when nothing is being demanded of you. There may still be thoughts passing through. That is normal. Rest does not require emptiness. It requires permission. Permission to exist without solving. Permission to pause without guilt. Permission to let the night be what it is. Scripture speaks often in quiet ways, not always through commands, but through presence. Through reminders that you are known, held, and not required to carry everything alone. Listening now is not an effort, it is an opening. A willingness to be accompanied rather than directed. If you notice tension anywhere in your body, you can simply acknowledge it without trying to change it. Awareness itself is gentle. Awareness softens what force cannot. Let your attention move slowly, without judgment, resting wherever it feels easiest to be. The night is not asking you to hurry. Time does not need to be measured here. There is no correct pace, no expectation. You are allowed to move slowly into rest or to remain awake and calm for as long as you need. Both are forms of healing. Sometimes peace arrives not as a feeling, but as a quiet absence of urgency. A sense that nothing needs to be done right now. If that absence appears, let it remain. Do not analyze it. Let it be enough. The words you are hearing are not meant to be remembered perfectly. They are meant to pass through gently, leaving behind a sense of ease rather than information. Like a soft light in the background, they offer reassurance without demanding attention. If your eyes are open, they may grow heavy. If they are closed, you may notice the edges of awareness becoming less defined. This is the body's natural rhythm responding to safety. There is no need to follow it consciously. Allow it to unfold. You are not required to stay alert. You are not required to remain awake. You are not required to listen closely. Simply being here is enough. Even drifting is enough. As this moment continues, allow yourself to trust that rest does not need effort. It does not need perfection. It does not need you to reach a certain state. Rest meets you where you are, not where you think you should be. Let the night continue to hold you quietly. Let the stillness deepen in its own time. Nothing is missing. Nothing is late. This moment is complete as it is. Stay here, breathing gently, listening loosely, allowing the space around these words to grow wider. When sleep comes, welcome it without expectation. When it does not, remain at ease. Both are forms of rest, and both are enough for tonight. As the quiet of the night deepens, There is often a sense of being gently carried rather than held in place. The effort that guided you through the day begins to loosen, and the body remembers how to exist without constant direction. You do not need to guide this process. It unfolds naturally when there is nothing left to prove. The mind may still notice small movements of thought, subtle and slow, like echoes fading in a wide room. Let them pass without attachment. Thoughts do not require answers to dissolve. They soften when they are allowed to exist without resistance. Scripture has long been spoken into moments like this, not to instruct, but to accompany. Words offered softly become a presence rather than a message. They do not demand understanding. They remain simply to remind the heart that it is not alone in the quiet. You may notice your breathing becoming more spacious now, the pauses between breaths growing longer, more comfortable. This is a sign of trust forming in the body. Trust that nothing is required. Trust that the night is safe. Trust that rest does not need to be earned. If the weight of the day still lingers somewhere within you, you can imagine setting it down gently, without ceremony. There is no need to name it or explain it. Just allow yourself to release it into the stillness, knowing it does not need your attention right now. The night has its own rhythm, slower and more forgiving than the hours before it. In this rhythm, there is room for tenderness, room for weakness, room for silence without discomfort. You are welcome here exactly as you are. Listening now is not an act of effort. It is an act of receiving. The words reach you without asking anything in return. They move at a pace that allows your awareness to rest between them. This space is as important as the sound itself. If sleep begins to approach, let it come gently. Do not reach for it. Do not test whether it is working. Simply allow your awareness to soften around the edges, trusting the body to know when it is ready, and if sleep does not come yet, that is also acceptable. Calm wakefulness is still rest. Peace does not depend on unconsciousness. It depends on safety, and safety is already present here. There is nothing you need to remember from this moment, nothing you need to carry forward. The value of this time lies not in what stays, but in what is allowed to leave. As the night continues, let your sense of self become lighter, less defined, less concerned with shape or direction. You are permitted to be simply present, without identity, without narrative, without expectation. Stay here in this gentle space. Let the sound of the voice and the quiet around it blend together. Allow the moment to be enough without improvement. You are not waiting for something to happen. You are already resting. And as the hours move forward, trust that this stillness is doing quiet work within you. Work that does not announce itself. Work that does not rush. Work that restores by remaining patient and kind. Remain here, breathing slowly, listening softly, allowing yourself to be held by the night without effort, without concern, without urgency, knowing that rest is already unfolding, quietly, steadily, exactly as it should. As the night continues to unfold, there is a sense that the world has stepped back, leaving space for something quieter to take its place. The urgency that once shaped the hours of the day no longer has a voice here. What remains is a softer awareness, one that does not ask questions or seek direction. It simply exists. You may notice that your thoughts now arrive more slowly, if they arrive at all. When they do, they feel distant, less demanding, like sounds heard from far away. You do not need to follow them. You can allow them to fade on their own. trusting that nothing important will be lost by letting go. Scripture often speaks of rest as something given, not achieved, a gift that arrives when striving ends. In this moment, you are not trying to reach peace. You are allowing peace to notice you. There is a difference, and the body understands it well. Breathing may feel deeper now, more settled. Each breath comes and goes without effort, without instruction. This rhythm is familiar to the body. It remembers how to rest when it is not being watched or corrected. Trust this memory. It has carried you before. If there is still a part of you holding on to the day, holding on to responsibility or concern, you can gently loosen that grip, not by force, but by kindness. Imagine your hands opening slowly, releasing whatever has been heavy, allowing it to remain unfinished until morning. The night does not require completion. It does not ask for answers. It offers space instead. Space to be quiet. Space to be incomplete. Space to be human without explanation. Listening now may feel different than before. Less focused. More fluid. That is all right. You are not here to concentrate. You are here to rest in the presence of sound and silence together. Both are doing their work. If sleep begins to draw nearer, you might notice your awareness drifting, thoughts blending into one another, edges becoming soft. Let this happen without trying to stay present. There is no need to hold on to this moment. You are free to drift. And if sleep remains just beyond reach, remain gentle with yourself. Calm wakefulness is still rest. The nervous system recovers even when the eyes remain open. There is no failure here, only quiet support. Scripture does not hurry you. It waits with you. It speaks in tones that respect your pace, reminding you that rest is not a reward for effort, but a response to trust. You are safe to let go now. Safe to stop monitoring the moment. Safe to stop checking whether you are doing this correctly. There is no correct way to rest. There is only willingness. As this time continues, allow yourself to fade into the background of your own awareness. Let identity soften. Let effort dissolve. You are not disappearing. You are resting. Stay here for as long as you need, or drift away when it feels right. The night will continue to hold you gently, without interruption, without expectation, without demand. And whatever comes next, sleep or stillness, it will arrive in its own time, guided by a quiet wisdom that does not need your help tonight. The night has now settled into a deeper stillness, one that feels less like silence and more like quiet support. It surrounds you gently, without pressure, without asking for anything in return. In this space, there is no need to perform rest or achieve calm. Simply being here is already enough. Your body understands this hour. Long before schedules and expectations existed, rest followed darkness naturally. Muscles softened, breathing slowed, awareness loosened its grip. That ancient rhythm still lives within you, waiting patiently for permission to return. Tonight, you are giving it space. If there are thoughts remaining, they may feel softer now, less insistent, like distant waves rather than sharp interruptions. You can let them come and go without engagement. They no longer need your attention. The night is carrying them away one by one. Scripture often speaks in moments like this, not loudly, not urgently, but with steadiness. Its presence is not meant to wake the mind, but to reassure the heart. You are held. You are seen. You are not required to remain vigilant. Breathing continues on its own, gentle and unforced. Each breath is a quiet signal of safety. Each pause between breaths is an invitation to release a little more. Nothing needs to change. Nothing needs to be added. You may feel a sense of heaviness in the body now, a pleasant weight pulling you downward. This is not exhaustion. It is surrender. A natural response to finally being allowed to stop. Let this weight settle you. Let it anchor you in the present moment. There is no need to track time. No need to wonder how long this has been or how long it will last. The night is not measured in minutes here. It is experienced in softness, in ease, in the absence of urgency. If sleep begins to arrive, it may come quietly, without announcement. Awareness may blur. Thoughts may lose their edges. Allow this transition without resistance. You do not need to stay awake to benefit from this moment. And if sleep does not come yet, remain at ease. Rest is already happening beneath the surface. The nervous system repairs itself even in gentle wakefulness. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are resting in the way your body currently needs. Scripture does not rush you toward an outcome. It remains present, steady, patient. It reminds you that rest is not a task to complete, but a state to receive. You are allowed to receive it now. As this quiet continues, allow your sense of self to soften further. There is no role to maintain here, no identity to protect. You are simply a person resting in the night, supported by stillness. Let the sound of these words blend into the quiet around them. Notice how sound and silence are no longer separate. They are working together, guiding you gently toward deeper ease. Stay here or drift away, whatever feels natural. There is no wrong choice. The night will continue to hold you kindly, without judgment, without expectation. And whether you are aware of it or not, rest is already unfolding within you, quietly restoring what the day has taken, preparing you gently for whatever comes next. As the night moves forward, there is a sense that everything unnecessary has begun to fall away. The layers of the day loosen quietly, without effort, leaving only what is essential. You do not need to decide what stays or goes. The process is already happening on its own. Your awareness may feel wider now, less focused on any single thought. This openness is a sign of rest deepening. The mind is no longer trying to organize or protect. It is simply present, resting within the rhythm of the night. Scripture often meets people in moments like this, not with urgency, but with patience. Its words were never meant to rush the soul. They were meant to remain nearby, offering steadiness when everything else slows down. Tonight, they remain with you quietly, without instruction. If sensations arise in the body, warmth, heaviness, softness, allow them to be exactly as they are. There is no need to label them or change them. Sensation is simply the body communicating safety. It is a language older than thought, and it knows what to do. Breathing continues, steady and unforced. Each inhale arrives gently. Each exhale releases a little more of what has been held. You are not directing this rhythm. You are allowing it. Trust is growing quietly beneath awareness. The night is a place where effort becomes unnecessary, where questions can rest unanswered, where unfinished things can remain unfinished. You are not required to resolve anything now. Morning will come in its own time, carrying clarity with it. For now, there is only rest. If the mind wanders again, let it wander without judgment. Wandering is not disruption. It is part of settling. Each return to listening is gentle, never forced. You are not starting over. You are continuing. Scripture does not measure progress. It does not evaluate how deeply you are resting. It simply remains present, offering companionship rather than instruction. This presence is enough. You may notice that your sense of time has softened. Minutes feel less distinct. Awareness drifts easily. This is natural. The night invites you out of structure and into ease. There is no schedule here, no expectation to meet. If sleep approaches, it may feel like a gradual dimming rather than a sudden shift. Thoughts lose their shape. Sensations blend together. Allow this transition without resistance. There is nothing you need to hold on to. And if sleep remains distant, remain gentle with yourself. Quiet wakefulness is still healing. The body restores itself whenever it feels safe enough to slow down. That safety is present now. Scripture has always understood this rhythm. Rest follows trust. Peace follows permission. You are not striving toward calm. You are allowing calm to surround you. As this moment continues, let your attention rest wherever it feels easiest. It may be the sound of the voice. It may be the space between breaths. It may be the quiet beneath everything. There is no wrong place to rest awareness. The night holds you without demand. It does not ask you to be different. It does not require explanation. You are accepted here fully, without condition. Stay here for as long as you need, or drift away when it feels right. There is nothing to complete. Nothing to achieve. Rest is already happening quietly, steadily, beneath the surface of awareness. Let the sound fade naturally when it does. Let silence take its place without concern. You are safe to rest now, supported by stillness, carried by the night, knowing that nothing is missing and nothing is required. The night now feels settled, as if it has found its natural shape around you. There is a quiet confidence in this stillness, a sense that nothing more needs to happen. The world outside continues without your attention, and you are free to remain here, supported by calm. Your body may feel heavier, more grounded, resting fully in the place where you are. This weight is gentle, reassuring, a sign that effort has eased. Muscles no longer need to hold themselves ready. Breathing moves slowly, comfortably, without direction. Thoughts, if they appear, are faint and distant. They no longer pull you forward or backward. They drift through like soft echoes, losing their form as they pass. You do not need to follow them. The night is doing the work of releasing them for you. Scripture has always understood the value of quiet presence. It does not demand attention. It does not insist on meaning. It remains nearby, steady and patient, offering reassurance simply by being there. Tonight it accompanies you without asking anything in return. If you notice moments where awareness fades slightly, welcome them. This is not losing focus. It is rest deepening. The mind is learning that it does not need to stay alert to remain safe. This learning happens gently over time, without force. Breathing continues its soft rhythm. Each breath feels like a small wave, arriving and leaving without disturbance. The pauses between breaths feel spacious now, comfortable, unhurried. There is no need to count or control them. The body knows this rhythm well. The night invites you to stop monitoring yourself. There is no need to check whether you are relaxed enough or calm enough. Rest does not improve through observation. It grows when allowed to remain unnoticed. If sleep begins to draw closer, it may feel like drifting rather than falling. Awareness loosens its edges. Sensations blend into one another. Let this happen without effort. There is nothing you need to hold on to from this moment. And if sleep does not come yet, remain at ease. Calm wakefulness is still rest. The nervous system continues to repair itself whenever it feels safe. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. Scripture does not rush the process. It respects your pace. It remains present without expectation, reminding you that rest unfolds naturally when pressure is removed. Tonight, pressure has no place here. You may sense a quiet warmth spreading through the body, or a gentle numbness, or a feeling of lightness. Whatever arises, allow it without interpretation. Sensation is simply the body settling into ease. As the night continues, let your sense of identity soften further. You do not need to be anyone here. You do not need to carry roles or responsibilities. For this moment, you are simply resting, and that is enough. Stay here as long as you like, or drift into sleep when it feels right. The night holds you steadily, without interruption, without demand. And beneath your awareness, rest continues its quiet work, restoring what has been worn down, preparing you gently for whatever tomorrow brings, without urgency, without concern, peacefully, safely, held. The night has now reached a place of deep steadiness, where nothing feels unsettled or unfinished. There is a sense of quiet agreement between your body and the stillness around you. Everything that needed attention earlier has softened, no longer asking to be carried through the dark. You may feel as though you are resting inside the night rather than moving through it. Awareness feels gentle, spacious, unhurried. There is no urgency pulling you forward, no memory pulling you back. This moment stands on its own, complete as it is. Your breathing continues in a slow, natural rhythm. Each inhale arrives easily. Each exhale releases what remains of the day. You are not directing this rhythm. You are allowing it, trusting the body's wisdom to guide itself into rest. Scripture often speaks of peace as something that settles rather than arrives. It is not dramatic. It does not announce itself. It becomes noticeable only when striving fades. Tonight, that peace is present quietly, without demand, without explanation. Thoughts may still pass occasionally, but they no longer feel personal or important. They drift through like distant sounds, unable to disturb the calm that is formed. You do not need to engage with them. The night is holding them for you. If you notice your awareness dipping in and out, moments of light sleep blending with wakefulness, allow this flow. There is no need to stay alert. There is no need to surrender deliberately. The transition happens naturally when safety is felt deeply enough. The body recognizes this safety now. Muscles rest fully. The jaw remains loose. The forehead smooths without effort. These signals tell the nervous system that it can remain calm, that nothing needs to be watched or guarded. Scripture remains present not as instruction, but as quiet companionship. Its presence is steady, patient, unintrusive. It does not lead you anywhere. It simply stays with you in the stillness. You are not expected to remember anything from this moment. You are not expected to hold on to meaning or insight. The purpose of this time is not understanding. It is rest. And rest is already happening. The night is generous with time. It does not rush you towards sleep. It allows you to drift naturally at your own pace. There is no correct moment for rest to deepen. There is only willingness to remain. If sleep arrives now, let it come gently, without acknowledgement. If it does not, remain calm and supported. Either way, your body continues to recover beneath the surface. repairing itself quietly, efficiently, without your help. Scripture has always respected this rhythm. It does not force transformation. It allows space for renewal to unfold slowly. Tonight, renewal is happening without effort, without pressure, without expectation. You may feel a sense of distance from the world now, as if its edges have softened. This is natural. Rest draws awareness inward, away from urgency and outward demands. There is nothing you need to respond to. Let the sound of the voice and the surrounding silence blend together. Notice how neither requires attention. They simply exist, supporting calm by their steadiness. Stay here as long as awareness remains, or drift into sleep when it feels right. There is no signal you need to wait for. The night continues to hold you gently, without interruption, and as this quiet continues, trust that everything necessary is being restored. Nothing is being neglected, nothing is being lost. You are safe to rest deeply now, carried by stillness, surrounded by calm, exactly where you are meant to be tonight. The night now feels complete in its quiet, as though it has fully settled around you. There is no sense of movement toward anything else, no waiting, no anticipation, only presence, steady and calm, holding you exactly where you are. Your body rests naturally within this stillness. There is no tension asking to be released, no effort asking to be made. Everything that once needed attention has softened into the background. Breathing continues, slow and gentle. Like a familiar rhythm you no longer need to notice. Awareness may feel distant now, less attached to thought or sensation. This distance is not emptiness. It is ease. The mind is no longer scanning or preparing. It is resting alongside the body, supported by the quiet. Scripture remains here not as words to consider, but as a quiet assurance, a reminder that rest is permitted, that peace does not require explanation, that being held is sometimes enough. If thoughts arise, they pass without shape or urgency. They do not belong to you in the same way they did earlier. They appear and disappear without leaving a trace. You are not required to follow them. The night carries them gently away. You may notice moments where awareness fades almost completely, returning briefly before drifting again. This is natural. The boundary between wakefulness and sleep becomes soft here. There is no need to choose one or the other. Both are forms of rest. The body understands this transition. Muscles remain loose. The breath remains slow. The nervous system stays calm. Nothing is being interrupted. Nothing is being delayed. Rest is unfolding exactly as it should. Scripture does not measure this moment. It does not mark progress or completion. It simply remains present, patient, steady, offering quiet companionship as the night continues. There is no need to hold on to this stillness. You do not need to protect it or prolong it. Peace does not disappear when attention fades. It remains beneath awareness, steady and reliable. If sleep comes now, let it come without acknowledgement. If awareness lingers, remain at ease. Either way, you are supported. Either way, restoration continues quietly within you. The night offers permission to let go completely, to stop listening, to stop noticing, to stop being present. You are allowed to drift without effort, without intention, without concern. Scripture has always honored this surrender. It speaks of rest not as something achieved, but as something received. Tonight you are receiving without effort. As this time continues, let yourself disappear into the background of awareness. There is no identity required here, no role to maintain. no story to follow. You are simply resting within the night. The world beyond this moment can wait. Responsibilities can remain unfinished. Questions can remain unanswered. Nothing will be lost by allowing yourself to rest fully now. Stay here for as long as awareness remains, or drift away completely when sleep arrives. There is nothing you need to do to make either happen. The night holds you gently, without interruption, without expectation. And beneath everything, rest continues its quiet work, restoring balance, renewing strength, preparing you silently for what comes next, without urgency, without effort, peacefully, safely, completely. The night has now reached its quiet conclusion, not with an ending, but with a deep sense of completion. Nothing more needs to unfold. Nothing more needs to be said. This moment stands whole and undisturbed, holding you gently in its calm. Your body rests fully now, supported by the stillness that surrounds it. There is no effort left to release. Breathing moves softly on its own, a steady rhythm that no longer asks for attention. The mind rests beside it, no longer separate, no longer watchful. Awareness may feel faint, distant, like a soft glow rather than a clear light. This is natural. It is the sign of deep rest settling in. You are not losing anything by allowing this softness. You are gaining restoration. Scripture remains present in the quiet, not as words, but as reassurance. A quiet knowing that you are held, that nothing is required, that rest is allowed to complete its work without interference. There are no thoughts that need answering now, no feelings that need naming. Everything that once felt unfinished has found a place to rest. The night has taken it gently, without asking for explanation. If awareness fades completely, allow it. There is no need to stay connected to sound or silence. You are safe to drift. You are safe to sleep. You are safe to let go. And if awareness remains lightly present, calm and unbothered, that is also enough. Rest does not depend on sleep alone. It depends on safety, and safety is fully present here. The body understands this moment deeply. Muscles remain relaxed. The breath remains slow. The nervous system remains settled. Nothing is preparing for action. Nothing is guarding against disturbance. Scripture has always honored this kind of rest. It does not insist on endings. It allows silence to finish what words began. Tonight, silence is completing its quiet work within you. There is no need to remember this moment. There is no need to carry it forward. Its effect does not depend on memory. Restoration happens beneath awareness, quietly repairing what has been worn down. The night holds you without interruption. Time continues without measurement. The world remains distant and quiet, unable to reach you here. You are fully allowed to remain undisturbed. If sleep arrives now, let it take you gently, without resistance. If it has already come and gone in waves, allow it to continue. There is no right way for this to unfold. Scripture does not close this moment. It leaves it open, spacious, unfinished in the best possible way. Rest is not something that ends. It carries forward silently into whatever comes next. As this final quiet continues, allow yourself to be completely supported. You are not responsible for maintaining calm. You are not responsible for holding peace. Both are already holding you. The night has done what it needed to do. You have done nothing wrong. You have done nothing extra. Simply being here was enough. Remain in this stillness as long as awareness allows, or drift fully into sleep without noticing. Nothing is lost either way. You are safe. You are at rest. You are held gently in the quiet completion of this night, and whatever tomorrow brings will be met with a body and mind that have been quietly restored, patiently renewed, and deeply supported by rest.